All right, I want to welcome on my next guest. We've got Justin Shackil, Yankees digital reporter. And Justin, baseball's back.
Yeah, I have to alter my sleep schedule. I was getting to bed earlier than usual while we were waiting for games to come on, and then on Thursday, opening night, finally here. The game obviously, everything around the game looks a lot different. We know that, but when they get between the lines, the two teams, and the first pitch was thrown, it was baseball. It's everything that we're longing for. So nothing to be too mad about, regardless of the rules, the guidelines, and all the protocols. It's obviously not what we're all accustomed to, but in this situation, 2020, it's baseball in Wonderland. Expect the unexpected. It was great.
Yeah, so I saw yesterday, of course, Juan Soto didn't play. So I decided, all right, it's probably going to be a pretty slow game. Decided to start watching around the sixth inning, which is the best part to start watching a baseball game because you get a nice half inning and then rain. So it reminded me a lot because I worked for Masson a couple of years ago, the year the Orioles traded Machado, and it rained every night. It was literally like they were the worst team in baseball. They traded Machado, they traded Britton, they traded everybody. I couldn't tell you. They had Renato Nunez. He was the big marquee name everybody came to see. It rained every single night, and I'm thinking like, all right, baseball's coming back. It should have started a couple months ago. They're going to start up now. Hopefully it's a nice day. Please don't rain. And then there we go.
And there was impending doom. You knew on Wednesday that on Thursday night it was going to monsoon in DC. So, chalk it up to it being, 2020, the year of disaster. But hey, the game got in. Yeah. The game was official. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people were waiting for. They were waiting before the sky opened up for this game to be official, and just got there in the nick of time.
Yeah, it's just like a stereotypical opening day. You had Mariano Rivera at a White House press conference, and you had Anthony Fauci throwing out the first pitch. Like just like it's like every year. But I had an idea. They didn't have it at the Nats game. You know how they have these cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
Okay, so fans can pay like what? How do you know how much it is off the top of your head? It's a couple $100.
I know.
Right?
Around $100. I think that's the average price.
This is what I think they should do to get more fans involved, get more people watching the game. So the fans obviously can't be at the game; they can watch on TV. I think what they should do is take down the nets behind. Take down the nets behind. Take them for some of the stadiums that have it in the back around where the take down the nets. And if a foul ball or a home run hits your cardboard cutout, you get the ball.
That's a pretty good idea. There have been ideas, popped up all over from people trying to figure out what to do with these baseballs that, go into the stands. Some auction it off to charity. I think that's a good idea. If you're paying for the seat, you might as well get the ball.
Yeah. It takes the head off the cutout. They send it to you and the ball. Like it's like a little. I think that'll get people watching because it'll get people to wanna put money in to get a cutout. And then they'll be watching to see if their cutout gets decapitated on Fox. So we'll see. Hopefully, but like if it hits it, you know which one it's hitting, and you obviously have all the information of the person who paid for it because the person's paying $200 for a cardboard cutout, and you've got the replay to see where it's going. I think it's a win-win.
One of the things I thought about while I was watching the game, imagine if the Nationals were one of the teams that had the cardboard cutouts last night with all that rain. Yeah. It would have been really funny watching all these fans' cardboard cutouts just getting soupy and sogging over. That's
the one drawback with the cutouts. Like the tarp crew can run out and cover up the field. It's gonna be very hard to run up and down the stadium in the middle of a torrential monsoon and grabbing all these cutouts and then putting them back in place where they were. That's an issue. That could be an issue. So I don't know what their policy is with that. I don't know if you get like a new cutout, but
I'm curious to see. I guess we're gonna figure out through one full week when we get a look at every team being in their home ballpark, which teams are doing that. I think there are probably a far greater amount of teams using that empty space and kind of putting a tarp with an advertisement on top of it. They're probably making more money that way than having some. Maybe in the area, right behind home plate. But again, that's prime real estate if you're looking to make extra money here. So
or what they could do is you could put different ads in each seat, and if your ad gets hit by a foul or home run, you could say 20% off at Papa John's or something like that.
They've got to work something
Yeah,
in. Make it feel normal, right?
Yeah, no, but and then do you know if there's the ads or the cutouts are more expensive for the better the seat? Because I saw some of them. I think it was the late game. Like they had like Guy Fieri like right behind home plate or right over there. I'm like, I wonder if he paid a little extra or they said.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've heard flat rates, man. I'm not sure.
Really?
But I've heard flat rates. So maybe they're giving the Triple D guys some preferential treatment.
Yeah, I don't know. What if they could do something like this? I'm just spitballing here. If like they had, there's probably too many people do it, but let's say they sold 300 cutouts, and they have all the people kind of on standby, and if their cutout gets hit by a foul ball, they put them on the jumbotron, the people.
And they have to go on the game broadcast.
Yeah,
as well.
So you got to be. So yeah, I don't know if they need to be prepped, but so yeah. But
I just want rain, man. I want Nationals Park type rain, and see how durable these cutouts are.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I can't imagine they're putting a top rate. It's cardboard. So yeah. No, it's wild. And then so baseball's coming back. Hopefully everybody can stay healthy. Blue Jays are finally picked a home. What are your thoughts on them? I say they finally settled on Buffalo, which is pretty close.
Man, I feel really bad for them because even though Buffalo is a AAA ballpark, there's a stark difference between AAA amenities, major league amenities. You work your way up to the big leagues to have those certain, major league amenities. And if you're a big leaguer, you kind of get used to that because it's kind of gone into your routine. And, we're talking about things that are in the facility, in the clubhouse, different things that are in the athletic trainer's room. Maybe they don't have as many massage tables. And, that may seem
they're breaking
small.
Them anyways in Buffalo.
Yeah,
you have to
that's
break
right.
So.
That may seem small in, the eyes of a fan, but I think that matters if that's part of your routine. If you're into the warm tub, the hot tub, the cold tub, vice versa. I don't know how many hot and cold tubs a AAA ballpark will have in Buffalo. So there's a lot of things that with them in Buffalo. But look, again, goes back to it being part of a pandemic. Obviously, you're making, rules as you go. And I think they have a good attitude, a good spirit about the whole thing. They know they kind of have to just go with it and acclimate themselves. But I would say, it's a disadvantage. I think the great news for the Buffalo minor league team, because I just read this before we started talking, that they're getting new lights. I think that was a big sticking point because
sure the players are thrilled.
Yeah. I mean,
no baseball all season, but we get lights.
Look, those are one of the big differences between a major league ballpark and a minor league ballpark. The major league parks, they have state-of-the-art lighting. So I think they're putting in new lighting, which is pretty expensive for a minor league team to go into their pockets for. I'm guessing the Blue Jays are going to be covering that. But all in all, they have a home. They've finally found a resolution to all that. But I think it is potentially a disadvantage for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, because I know they were talking about potentially playing at Camden Yards. And if they were playing at Camden Yards and the Orioles were playing at Camden Yards as a whole might reach 40 wins this year. So it's very interesting. But I think it's. Do you think are they not allowed to play in the home, even practice in the home ballpark in Toronto?
I think the big sticking point there was that the Canadian government just didn't want people coming in and out of their country when they had everything under control.
It was just the Blue Jays staying in there, practicing, and then when they go to the game, they go to Buffalo.
That's a good question, but I would probably think that once the Jays are in Buffalo, they're staying there because, again, now the Jays are coming and going themselves, and they're interacting with those other major league teams. I just think, Toronto and the Canadian government didn't want to touch this at all this season, even though I'm sure, what little money, they're making by having games at Sky, at Rogers Center. I'm calling it Sky, don't dating myself. But yeah, I think they, realize they have this under control. They don't want it to spread in a major city like that. So I think the Jays, I don't think they're going to be crossing that border anytime soon.
No. No, the thing is, like, and Canada's happy. They're like, all right, we got the baseball team out of town. We're all hockey for a couple months. All hockey. You got it going in Edmonton and Toronto. I think Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. Yeah, it's pretty ironic.
Yeah,
but
yeah. They're like, hey, we can't have
yeah.
2 teams. We can have 10. That's the rule. So, but you got to stay here. No, that's
yeah.
Do you think? I'm still nervous that with baseball not doing a bubble, cases could spike. Are you concerned, or do you think they're being safe?
I think there are reservations that I have regarding that for sure. It's something that we're going to find out, especially once the travel gets going. I'm not so concerned about the teams in the Northeast, so teams in the NL and the American League East. I'm looking at that, that Western Division in both leagues. You have 2 teams in Texas in the AL West traveling to places like Seattle and Oakland. I mean, yeah, they're in the division, but it just shows you how wide this stuff is. You have, a team in Denver going to San Diego, going to San Francisco, and you obviously you have both Western divisions playing one another, so there's even more travel there. That's what concerns me. We're not in a bubble. This is what it is. This is the setup. I'm going to go with it. But those are the reservations I have with this entire setup. My personal opinion is that it probably would have worked better if they were in a bubble. But then when you look at the state of things right now across the country, you ask yourself, man, where would that bubble be exactly at this moment? So, look, they're doing what they can.
Winnipeg.
Yes, Nova Scotia. Well, hey, Toronto's open. So they could have just had all 30 teams go there.
Got some stuff going on in the next couple months. So but like, I'm concerned about the teams that are playing in some of these hot spots. Like anybody playing the Diamondbacks, anybody playing in California, anybody playing in Texas. I'm sure the Astros will figure out a way to circumvent everything because they're so good at that. But I think the success of baseball this season I think it's going to give people more and more confidence about NFL. Even though NFL, they're not doing it kind of regionally. They're scheduled. I don't think the schedule's going to happen as is. I think they're going to either have to do 2 hubs, AFC, NFC, or just kind of split it down geographically. But if NBA had a lot of reservations in advance, seeing the success that Major League Soccer has had in terms of low case numbers and kind of containing it, there's also not that much stuff to do in Orlando right now. If they were in Miami, I'd be much more concerned, especially NBA. James Harden's been going out every night. But I seeing the low case numbers and seeing, I think they tested a couple days ago. Of course, it's before the scrimmages, so these guys are only hanging out with their own teams. 0 cases in a study of over 300. So if they can keep that going, I'm confident. But I also need we're also not, the NBA season isn't started yet. We've already got guys getting takeout and getting quarantined and leaving and coming back. So we'll see how it all works.
Yeah, I think you just have to use your head. I think teams are going to do as good of a job as possible as far as policing one another, and I think that's on the player level as well. Just taking in baseball, I think players, especially on teams that really feel like they had a strong chance of winning a championship this season, they didn't want to waste that. And I think a lot of clubhouse policing is going on now. Also, you got to take, there's going to be an outlier in virtually anything. I think, though, the seriousness of all this is understood for the large majority. Could there be, a rule broken here and there along the way? Absolutely. Something that kind of caught my attention, though, dudes today in baseball, man, they're playing video games nonstop. It's not like it was, in the 90s and the early 2000s where guys are going out and, they're closing down bars. These guys are closing down their games in their hotel rooms. And I saw the Yankees traveling to D.C. on an Acela train, and I think it was Aaron Hicks. He had his whole video game set up on the train. I mean, that's like a 3-hour train ride, so to speak. But they spread it out, man. So I think as long as they have their video games, they're going to be occupied, and obviously that's going to be taking place indoors, insulated in their respective hotel rooms on the road. So I think video games are going to be playing a large part of these leagues coming through during this pandemic.
I'm just hoping, like in some of the cities, we obviously you're gonna start seeing bars and stuff start closing down. That's gonna start happening. I know, at least in Baltimore, I saw that they're starting to close indoor dining, so bars are next. I'm just hoping in some of the cities that aren't as strict, that when there's more kind of, I'm trying to think of the word, there's more stuff to do. Even like if you're going to play Miami, even if the bars are closed, you can still go to the beach. You
Yeah.
can still do a lot of stuff. I'm hoping the players use restrict.
I think, look, you could say to yourself, man, do you really need to go to the beach right now? Do you want to go to the beach in this, small 3-4 day window that you are in Miami, or do you want to have a ring for a lifetime,
Yeah.
or have that opportunity to potentially play for a ring and have that last a lifetime? So again, it's all about using your judgment, and I think the most disciplined teams are going to be the ones that are at the top, even with these expanded playoffs now. When we're talking exclusively about baseball, I think those teams that are the most disciplined are going to have an edge because it's a mindset.
What were your thoughts on the expanded playoffs when they put it in action?
Well, I mean, I was just like sitting down right before first pitch, and but pretty hours before first pitch of the season, this comes down. I think it changes a lot. Now, I think the players knew this was a possibility. I think it just wasn't leaked to the public. And hey, look, that's a good thing. Yeah. When you compare it to all the labor disputes earlier in the late spring and summer. But as far as the layout goes, man, I think the elite teams now have a huge piano hanging over their head because the 60-game season. Yes, every game matters, but if you are a good team, if you have talent, and if you kind of were pegged to be one of those teams that are going to be heading to the postseason during a 162-game campaign, you're pretty much a lock. The problem is if you are one of those elite teams, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Astros, put the Rays in there, the Braves. If you're any one of those teams and you win your division, or if you're that one seed that's taken on the 8th seed, and you have home field through those 3 games, you can still get beat because a 3-game series is so short. If you're, take example for the Yankees, and say a team like the Texas Rangers, who I think have a chance now at opening up some eyes. If you take the Texas Rangers,
the new park is fantastic.
Yeah, new park,
even
new airplane hangar.
It looks like a Kohl's, but it's a great it's a great park.
I think, look, I mean, you have Corey Kluber, Mike Minor, Lance Lynn, 3 horses. Give or take what you think of Kluber now, but he's still a great talent. Right there. If you get beat by Minor and Kluber in 2 games, your season is over. So, do I like that aspect of it? Not really, but it'll certainly make things more exciting. It'll add more games in the month of October for this season, which is awesome because I think we're all starved for more games. So in a 60-game season in 2020, do I like it? I think I have, I don't have both feet all the way in, but I do like the fact that there are going to be more games. Would I like this in a 162-game schedule? Absolutely not. But I do fear that if they're trying it now, and the TV networks like what they're getting, and what they're getting is money, it's going to become an inevitable reality for a 162-game season down the line.
So with the reduced season and expanded playoffs, the Orioles only win about 40 games a year. So they were my deep sleeper coming in, even though they normally have about 100 more to play. So now they've got a little bit of a cushion. So are you now concerned that, okay, they normally know how many wins they like to get every year. Now they have an added chance to even make the playoffs. Are they the biggest threat to Major League Baseball for World Series pennant this year?
Man, the teams with nothing to lose, are they going to lose more? Lose less? That's a great question. Yeah, do like the absolute bottom feeders in the sport. The Orioles, and there's not too many of them. The Orioles, the Tigers. I don't even know if I'm kind of hesitant to put the Marlins there. I think there's like one rung above that, or 1.5 rung above that. So do they think they have a chance? Yeah. I seriously hope that they have that mindset at least through the first 3-4 weeks of the season. So I think if you're not playing to win this year, I think you don't know what you're doing, because you definitely have a shot in a 60-game season when more than half the league is making the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm just kind of sad that with all baseball coming back, people are gonna stop watching Korean baseball, which is I probably watched twice. Probably thought about watching it probably 30 times. Probably watched it twice. Couldn't find any hoodies. I was looking for a Wyverns hoodie.
Yeah.
And couldn't find it anywhere, especially when they're not doing global shipping. So that's probably a big thing too. But yeah, but I think it's interesting with all this stuff adding on, and then hopefully we can get everybody can kind of get their stuff together. I just find it very, very interesting with everything. The one thing they really haven't said about it is trades are going to be weird. Trades are going to be like, you're going to have to quarantine for a couple of weeks. And maybe if the guy he test positive and test positive again, what if he says, you know what, screw it, we don't want to do it?
Yeah, I think this trade deadline is either it's going to be there on paper, but in reality, I don't know if there's going to be an executive out there. Look, if a team is in position to make a huge addition and improve their ball club, yeah, they're probably going to do it. How it's going to happen is really tough to wrap your head around, not only because of the pandemic and all the rules and protocols that they'll have to go into a player moving from one city to another, but we were just talking about expanded playoffs. I mean, what is the cutoff point for a team to figure out whether or not they're in this or they're out of this? And even if, the thing is, there are teams that think, okay, we may be good to make a late season push, but when we get to the postseason, what will it really matter? We don't have a chance to, beat a Dodger team or a Yankee team. So, what's the real point? And I think that's the mark of a good executive, because it's obviously not a situation, in that scenario, they're probably breaking down a team when the fan base wants to go the other way. And I think that's the mark of a good, executive. Here, you may think you have a chance at making the playoffs. And if you do, you have a chance at advancing in the postseason. So it's completely different. And I can't imagine a player being dealt during a pandemic and all that goes into moving him and his family and, moving from city to city. But then when you expand the field, it raises a whole bunch of different questions. So that's something that just has to unfold here. And I think it's something that everyone's just going to sit back and wait for, because it is completely unpredictable.
Do you think the Yankees solidified their shot at the postseason last night solely because Juan Soto didn't play?
I was so bummed out that he was not in that lineup, because he was the one dude that I really wanted to see not only face the Yankees, but face Garrett Cole. In his Yankee debut.
He could have in October. Garrett Cole said, no,
yeah. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see the Soto stare from the batter's box, all the moves that he makes in the box. I love that, and it was a bummer to not see him in that lineup last night. But man, you gotta like what you saw if you are a Yankee fan, between Cole doing his thing, even when you could tell he was really amped up and probably not at his best. If that wasn't his best, man, sign me up for his future starts, because it's going to be a real treat to watch. But overall, he looked very good. His fastball definitely had life north of the zone, and he got some really big outs even when he was behind in the count. So it was really impressive to watch. He gave up that one home run and then retired 14 of the last, of his next 16. But I thought the lineup spoke louder. I think the cool part about the lineup last night, facing Max Scherzer, who could be a guy that I think he's one of the top pitchers in the game, but he worked a lot last year. And I think the layoff to the start of this season is serving those type of pitchers a whole lot right now. But even so, I thought going into this season, when it was a regular schedule, that Scherzer may regress because of that workload. But last night, you saw him adjust his game based on this Yankee lineup that seemed pretty loaded. He wasn't throwing as many fastballs. He was really pounding his sliders. Slider's terrific pitch. But he had to deviate from his plan of attack that he would normally go to the mound with, because of this Yankee lineup. It was stacked, and those hitters right at the top, they put good contact on Scherzer. They hit him hard, and it was exactly what you want to see from guys like Aaron Judge and guys like Giancarlo Stanton. And when those two are contributing in big ways in the same game, the team just feels different. And as a fan, I think, you can pick that up as well. So you really had to like what you saw if you watched the Yankees on opening night.
Speaking of Scherzer, it's actually kind of funny you say this because I don't know if you've heard the story. It kind of people were talking about it in October. So there's a guy who came to the Nationals parade, and he literally looks like a spot-on Max Scherzer. Like it could be his twin brother. And people thought it was. So I think he probably had like the best day of his life. For some reason, he found me on LinkedIn, and he's been trying to kind of promote his clout months later. I'm like, dude, you do look like Max Scherzer, but I don't know how I can help you. Like we know you're not Max Scherzer now.
Is this the same doppelganger that was in the news right before the first game on Thursday?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, it's July. Like, what are you talking?
His 15 minutes had legs.
Yeah, no, and they should do a 30 for 30 on his night because he probably had the best. I don't even know. I don't know this guy's fine. And the thing is, it's not like he's shooting messages on LinkedIn. It's not just he's shooting messages. He's doing the in-mail, which he's paying to reach out to me, and I'm like, I can't help you. So it's wild. But Scherzer, maybe I don't know. Maybe they could use him as a reliever. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know who his arm is. But this has been a lot of fun, man. I really wanted to thank you again for chatting for a few minutes. And then for people that don't follow you on social media, how can they find you?
It's really boring. It's just my name, my first and last. Justin Shackil, Shackil. Same thing for Twitter and Instagram. Those are the two spots that I'm most active on. So if you're into baseball, I don't even call it now, Eastern baseball this season in 2020, AL East, NL East, and you want to go for the ride there, I'm pretty active on Twitter. So thanks a lot, Zach. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely. You on TikTok or not? I'm hoping TikTok goes along with 2020 when the year ends. I think it's great, but it's too much for me.
I have to admit, I downloaded it.
Really?
It's on my phone. I started to explore how could I potentially use this to my advantage.
Yeah.
And that mindset lasted all about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I haven't
the concept. I like the concept because they're trying to. It's sort of like Vine, but it's just with these dances.
Yeah.
That they're like, oh, we got to do the challenge. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah, my account will be dance free once I get the hang of it.
Yeah.
So
no, it's. Who did I see? Bill Nye is kind of keep me in TikTok. So Bill Nye is he's posting stuff. I'm like, hey. Bill Nye's back. I don't know. I haven't seen him as one of his videos since middle school. Now he's teaching people about everything. But no, this is
Nye back
fun,
on
man.
TikTok.
Yeah, Bill Nye.
2020 just gets weirder and weirder.
Funny thing about Bill Nye is he has a bachelor's degree. So I don't think people really realize.
There's hope for us all then.
Yeah. So it's Bill. What did they say? The best thing I said was Bill Nye, the Bachelor of Science guy. So which is fantastic. But he's great. He's smart. He's great. But this has been a lot of fun, man. I just want to thank you again.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate the time.